right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you're making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Guys, we have a really good show in store for you today. A really good friend of Are You Serious Sports is going to be joining for the first time since we've been using the new setup on our platform in live, in the flesh. Zach Pearson, former LSU great and former LSU pitcher, is going to be joining us at 7:20 p.m. So in about 17 minutes, or whenever Zach gets into the stream and we can pull him up in here, we're going to do so. So I'm really looking forward to having Zach on. One of the best dancers that you'll ever see in your life, Mr. Zach Pearson. But we're greatly appreciating him joining. What we drinking tonight, Blake? Agua. We gotta save the liquid courage. We gotta save the alcohol because we do have a storm coming. So we gotta wait for that, Hemper. We gotta wait for that, brother, or sister, because I don't see your pick right there. But we gotta wait for that. But we got some water tonight. Tomorrow night we might get a little something. We might get a good little Ragged Branch official AYS bourbon into the glass. But tonight we're gonna be sipping on the agua. Guys, as we've been really pretty much talking about all week, the SEC made it official. If you heard me on with the Bill King show this morning, we talked about it a lot, but it's official through the SEC that LSU is going to be going to Columbia. Game time starting at 11 a.m. Now, I told you guys on that show on Bill this morning that we made a phone call to the SEC office. It's going to be with the ESPN networks. I would either at minimum, it's going to be on the SEC network, probably the alternate channel. So depending on what service you use, DirecTV or whatever, if you're going to watch the game, if you do still have electricity, I guess that is, you can catch the Tigers on the SEC network. So be tuning there, and we're going to keep you guys all up to date in reference to all of that. But how does that affect LSU? How does that affect them moving forward? Does the move impact them greatly moving forward? We're going to talk about that. Also, my man Michael Gagliano is on a hot streak. He's on a hot streak. I think he's 18-6, 18-7-1 with his picks. So if you're a betting person, you might want to come in here and listen to Gags. Better yet, we're going to do this. Michael Gagliano. So if you have some questions for Gags later on tonight, you can do that and put the hashtag #AskGags, and it'll be really fun to see what he's got picked this week. Because I'm pretty sure Gags went, I think, 6-1 last week on his picks on the show, which is absolutely phenomenal, y'all. Absolutely phenomenal. But before we get started, as always, guys, do us a huge favor and hit the like and hit the share and share into some groups. Zach Pearson, as we mentioned, will be on with us at 7:20. Before we get to that, guys, as always, we got to pay bills. And look, I've talked to him a lot today as well. But you got to go over and see my guys over at GM Varnado and Sons. GM Varnado and Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge area for over 62 years. With their highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, truck repair, routine maintenance, tire repair, replacement, any auto repair services. Please go see them today. Go over to their Facebook page at facebook.com/Denham Springs Car Care. That's facebook.com/Denham Springs Car Care. Go see them at 2500 Florida Boulevard or give them a call at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you. And guys, they've been knocking it out of the park, and we've been telling you every day, you got to call them today for all their special offers. If you're looking for a new home on the North Shore, if you're looking to list your home, you got to give them a call right now. Well, not right now because they're closed, but tomorrow morning, bright and early, 985-467-7355, 985-467-7355. Go see all of their beautiful homes over at team.kw.com. That's team.kw.com. And tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you. Okay. Yeah, Dylan, what's up, brother? What's happening? Praying for Jonathan Lane and Lafayette. Yeah, guys. I mean, look, everyone be careful with this storm. Everyone be careful. Look, if you need to evacuate, evacuate. We're praying for everyone here on the show. We're praying for all of you. We hope that we don't get a lot, but it's looking like Louisiana is going to get it. Dylan Landry, who's right here in the stream right now, he says, I'm in Youngsville. Send them prayers my way, y'all. Dylan, we're going to be praying for you, brother. Everybody on that side, really on that side of the state, you guys have been hit hard, already. I just wish that thing would I don't want it to hit anywhere. I don't want it to hit anywhere. But if it does, okay, just push it out. All right. Yep. We see you, Gags. Mike Malonso, what's happening, man? He says, doing a great job, Blake. I appreciate that. I appreciate you appreciating the greatness. Just joking. Blaine Smith says, just finished storm prep. Y'all be safe. Man. I'm sorry, guys. I wish this wasn't going any. Brandy Blake. Brandy, did you see what Lane Kiffin said about Nick Saban today? He said his old ass can't cover me. Oh, 101. His old ass can't cover me. How about that Roody Poo stuff? Lane with them shots, man. Doug, what's happening, man? He says prayers coming everyone's way from Connecticut. Doug, we appreciate that, man. Hey, Doug, I know that you listen to Bill King early in the morning, and look how much has changed since we went on with Bill on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio. A lot of things have changed. John Adams says, Gags, you went 6-1 last week? Dude, my boy Gags is going off with them picks. I might just go ahead and start betting everything he's throwing down. And I'm just going to ride the hot streak, y'all. I'm going to ride the hot streak. Okay. Yeah, Brandy says she love it. Let's get into this right quickly before we get Zach Pearson, the great Zach Pearson, former LSU pitcher, onto the show. Look, I don't know how much this game is going to affect LSU moving forward. Look, the line went from 20.5 down to 14.5. Eli Drinkwitz, who's the head coach of the Missouri Tigers, had a really good point today. He goes, look, even I'm glad that this game was moved up to 11 o'clock. We come here, we have a great game. Look, Missouri is doing this all first class, y'all. All first class. They're going to be playing the LSU fight song. They're going to be doing a lot in reference to helping LSU feel at home. First class goes to our good friends over in Mizzou at Como. If you don't know what Como is, it's for Columbia, Missouri. That's what they call it. But doing a lot for that. Brandy says, is Lane the Roody Poo of the day? Hashtag LFG. No, he's not the Roody Poo of the day. I don't know if I could give Lane Kiffin the Roody Poo of the day. I just don't think I could do it. But they're making the Tigers feel very first class, meaning the LSU Tigers, that is. Drinkowitz would go on to talk about today in his press conference that, look, we want to play the game. We want everybody to be safe. We want a great game, and we want LSU to be able to go back home safe and sound. And God forbid, if they're without electricity, it's not dark outside, and it does light, and those guys can prepare for what's going on in the state of Louisiana. But look, having 170 people from LSU going up to Missouri, getting out of a Category 3 hurricane, let's do it. I mean, those kids are not going to be safer anywhere else from a storm that's not going to hit. It's not hitting Missouri, y'all. So I think that they'll be ready to play. In reference to the betting odds, this line has changed so much in the last 12 hours, going from 20.5 to 14.5. In the last I saw today, maybe about 2 hours ago, was around 15.5. So some more money is going into the Tigers. I keep saying Tigers, but you know what I mean. The LSU Tigers. So we'll see. I've been saying this all week, and I've been preaching this all week. Missouri's defense is Roody Poo, y'all. You want to talk about Roody Poo of the day? How about that defensive front seven? LSU is going to be able to run the ball up front. They're going to be able to get a lot of push. Oh, we got Mr. Zach Pearson. Okay. Zach, if you can hear me, give us just 1 second. Give us just 1 second. We'll bring him in a little bit early. They're asking for you, Zach. They're like, get your ugly mug off of all right, well, let's do this. Okay. Zach, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go, my man, and we'll get you in here. All right.
Ready.
We got Mr. Zach Pearson, the former LSU baseball player, the former great, the best dancer that LSU has ever had. Zach, what's going on tonight, man?
Oh, not much, man. I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. We can hear you great.
All right, cool. Yeah, what's going on, man?
Oh man, well, look, a lot's been going on. It's been a hell of a week to have a podcast. I'll tell you that because you say one thing, right now, like I said something on Monday, and then Tuesday it's completely just chaotic. So, but everything's going good. Zach, let me ask you this question just to start off here. What's been your take over the first couple of weeks from LSU? Being a former athlete, being there, what was your take of the first 2 weeks for this football team?
I guess first and foremost, I kind of wish we could have played Vandy first and then Mississippi State second.
I know, right? I know.
Because I think it hurts more than it helps, obviously, that they turned around and lost to Arkansas. I don't know if that was them just being flat one day or if, the new offense just had the book out on them off of our film. I don't know. But I would have loved to have, had some kinks exposed against a team like Vandy that we could have cleaned up before week 2. But, hey, it is what it is, man,
Well, there's a lot to that and a lot to break down in what you just said. And look, you always want that feeler game. Look, there's a reason that you got Roody Poo University before you play a team like Texas, right? Like, get the cobwebs out. Like you guys even would do it during baseball. You would play, and this is not a shot at people like Southern or schools like Southern, but you would play those kind of tune-up games. You would go to Minute Maid and play what would it be, Oklahoma, Texas, TCU, whoever it would be for baseball. And I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Let me ask you this, because you've been on teams that have, especially in JUCO at Eunice, you have a lot of guys leave, you have a lot of new guys come in. How big of a difference from a locker room perspective is it that when you have such a large amount of people leaving your program and a lot of people coming back in? From your perspective, how big of a difference is that?
Well, there's always turnover, but I think those guys are, they're prepared for that, especially at a school like LSU where, your third string is really the only difference he has, behind your first and second string is that he's younger, so like they should be able to turn it over a little better than that. And I really don't think the first week had anything to do with a talent thing. I think it was just one of those weird flat days. May have had something to do with them kind of just feeling like that whole play anybody anywhere mentality. They may have thought that would carry them all the way. I don't know, but
right.
But no, I think they were prepared for the turnover, even though they lost some gigantic guys. I would bet that the late opt-outs and then obviously the like day before Stingley scratch, that probably had more to do with it than the actual draft guys.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You're saying the best defensive player in all of football is out of the game, then yeah, it's going to be a big difference. But I'm right there with you. We got some fan questions here, Zach. I'm not sure if you can see that, the comments right there. But hashtag Ask Zach, who's your World Series pick? And before you get started, if you don't play the Yankees, we're cutting you off. I'm just joking.
Hey, the Yankees look good, though. Stanton is on a run that I've never seen before in my lifetime.
No.
That's a hard one, though, because a lot of teams are really hot right now. I thought the Astros were going to pull out the game today. They barely lost it at the end. But I don't know. I don't know if there's a safer pick than Slam Diego right now. They clean the hell out of it, man, and they are fun to watch. But really, all those teams, they got some young ballers right now that are really reviving the sport. I think it's cool to watch.
Tatis might be my new favorite player. I'm just going to say it. I like Zach, and this, but my Uncle Jeff coaching at Franklinton, over 30 years, that just was you can't do what he's doing in baseball with the bat flips and all that kind of but they're kind of letting it ride a little bit, which I like. I like him flipping it. So what? Now I've never been a pitcher, so you can probably attest to that, like how that would make you feel. But man, it makes the game of baseball seem fun again.
I agree.
That's just my biggest thing with it. Kind of turning the tide on that, dude. The Dodgers probably have the best roster in baseball. Right? Good Lord. If you had to pick, who is your World Series 2? Who's going to get into the World Series, and who do you think is going to win it?
Man, that's tough. Like you said, I think the Dodgers are a good one. Man, I really don't know. I would love to see the Astros come out of it, come out of the AL. Less because of being an Astros fan, more just because I think it would just be the most the most ridiculous sports story you could imagine.
I
For
know.
those to turn it around right now, it would just be ridiculous. But I really don't know. I really have. It'd be hard to pick that right now because I feel like everything's pretty tight. I mean, I still don't even know if they have the series with the A's locked up yet. Verlander going down is gonna hurt them really bad. If the Yankees keep swinging it the way they're swinging it, they very well could come out of the AL. I don't know, man. Everything seems like it's up for grabs, and baseball is one of those weird sports too, where you really don't know how it's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, like the Nationals last year. Now they have the pitching, and I get that, but a kid from here in Laranja or Independence, Tyler Rainey was a middle reliever. I mean, we knew about him here, but he comes in and has a .91 ERA in the playoffs. Like you never know. You kind of touched on the Astros a little bit. So being an Astros fan, let me just throw this to you.
Okay.
I don't really want to go into the cheating scandal because everyone's going to form their own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of showing some people some stuff right now. Now I get the averages went down and stuff like that. What have you seen? And just in reference to, now that they're getting hot, what's maybe the biggest difference you've seen over the last month from them?
Well, I was trying to wait. I was really trying to wait until the playoffs to kind of see. I don't think that 60 games is enough to judge averages based on or compare them to a 160 game season. It's very possible they could have just had a bad month and then there you go, everything's out of the window there.
Right.
So I don't know. They're swinging it really well right now. I do think they're showing a lot about obviously all the stuff was going down and this and that. They still are good baseball players. Like they can still hit. They can still field it. Their bullpen is pretty nasty. Like at the end of the day, they're still a hard team to beat. And I think that's kind of the chip on their shoulder right now of like, if we just come out and just kind of, let it all loose, we could actually show off, that we're a lot better than people are giving us credit for. So I don't know. I'm anxious to see how they do.
I am too. Stephen Miller, we got a fan question here. My good friend Stephen Miller says, how does he grade the lettuce of Dustin May? Okay, good question.
Man, they the baseball playoffs is usually a pretty good time to compare a lot of people's lettuce. They usually let it roll throughout the season, and everyone talks about October players, but like a bullpen guy like myself, you want to see October heads of hair. What's really going on here. And no, I like his a lot, man. I think it's pretty nasty. I like obviously I like the red. It's just I think if you got red, especially like red curls, you got to let that roll, man. That's got to be your thing. It's too unique.
I know. You know what else is too? We had a kid who was he was kind of redheaded. Well, even Evan growing up was a little redheaded, And so
yeah.
I was, like, man, let that thing fly, let that thing breathe, man. You just
Evan had a good head of hair though at Eunice though. He let it roll and it was good. It was good.
And look, he's got it now. He got it long. Now he's got him a little girlfriend and he's doing great things. I love me some Evan. Jennifer asked, #AskZach, I feel you on Astros and story-wise, but do you truly think Houston can beat the Yankees? I'm going to start right there. I don't know. I mean, look, the Rays are hot right now. I don't know if the Yankees get past the Rays. Look, watching that game last night, Hap sucks. Okay, he completely sucks. They need a running from a fan, but I don't know if they get past the Rays. But I guess, last baseball question here, and we'll throw some things around, but your take on the Yankees and how they've been doing.
I think if they're swinging it the way they're swinging it, I don't know. You can take them in any game. They have guys who just hit bombs. I know Stanton had one yesterday that I think was about 400 miles an hour. And then he had another one that went all the way to the moon. So I don't know, I don't understand how they swing it. If all their guys are on at the same time, they're going to win tonight. And that's just kind of how they play. And so I think it's kind of a tale of I guess that's any baseball postseason though. The tale of the team is, are the bats hot or cold right now? And it could be a week to week thing. I think if they're swinging it well, they are the favorite.
Bro, when you said he had one to the moon, he
Dude,
did you see how fast it came off the bat? 121 miles an hour. Like, good Lord, man. Jeez. I mean,
that's a strong
how do
man.
you defend someone that can hit? I mean, if you're on the hot corner at third, I'm not playing up on the grass. It ain't happening. You can cut me. I ain't doing it. But that's just me. Zach, let me go here. Let's see. Esteban, he's a big Astros fan too. Yes, they've been beating the Yankees for the past few seasons. Oh, get out of there. Like Riff Raff said, he's got a nice set package. Zach, let me ask you this too. And Zach Pearson's our guest, former LSU baseball player. What do you see? And I know you're kind of a little far removed from it, but a lot of people have been asking me the same question. I know that we talked about this a little bit, and it's a little off topic from what we were talking about. Sometimes you just got to roll with what the fans are asking us. But a little bit of LSU baseball, they got a lot of young talent. They got a lot of young, good talent coming in. What's been the bugaboo, if you will, behind this team? What doesn't get them above the notch that they're kind of, or the rut that they're kind of in? It's kind of they're pushing in a regional and then they get beat. What do you think, as a former player, that you're seeing that maybe they can get out of that slump this year?
I think for them it's going to be pitching. I think their pitching staff could be extremely good this year. I'm really, really anxious to see Hill in this new role. I want to see if he can come out and just blow it by guys and just try to take every Friday night game. That's obviously going to put you at an advantage. No, but I don't know, man. I think for them it's pitching. Maybe I just overvalue pitching as a former pitcher, but I think if their staff comes out and does as well as they're supposed to, it relieves a little bit of the pressure on the offense. Needing to put up 6 runs is not the same mountain as needing to put up 3. So like, I would love to see that. But who knows, man? Like you said, everything changes week to week, right? In this crazy world, I don't know how to predict what's going to go on next year.
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't know either. I don't think that they're swinging the bat bad. When you're averaging 5.5 runs a game, that's not bad. Right. The problem is that you got Arkansas scoring 7.5. Like that's and I think that's what fans see. And this is LSU. And I think that you're right. Look, Jaden Hill is an absolute stud. He's an absolute beast. And I'm looking forward to that. Zach, hopefully you guys will be okay. I know that you're over in the west part of Louisiana, right?
Yeah, I'm up in Shreveport.
Okay. I thought you were still in the Eunice area, but so you're up in the northern part of Louisiana.
Yeah. We're gonna be fine up here.
Okay, good. Because I was going to tell you, we got some AYS bourbon that if you want to evacuate, you can come the official bourbon of AYS. You can come sip on it. What's your thoughts of this game this week? I know we talked a lot over the last 2 weeks, a lot of baseball, but looking forward to this game against Missouri. A lot's changed. What do you think's going to happen Saturday?
Probably biased. I still think LSU goes out and wins. Obviously, what I really am looking for is how is like Miles Brennan and that passing attack getting into the rhythm of things, right? They obviously looked great against Vanderbilt. My only complaint about Miles in the first week really was that he looked hesitant, right? Mm-hmm. His passes seemed okay when he was letting them off. Just kind of looked like he was a little bit behind when he needed to be. And I was anxious to see, given these two, what are supposed to be cupcake matchups, given these two, is that just his code or is that just his first game? So I'm anxious. That's going to be the biggest thing, for this game. That's going to be a big tale for the rest of the year. Is if they can come out, blow it open. Terrace Marshall looked incredible. They have insane weapons over there. Obviously, you got Stingley back, so that's always going to help. I would like to see Miles blow it open real good, build a little bit of confidence, and then get ready for this gauntlet of a season that they have.
I mean, you hit it spot on, man. Spot on. Look, against Vandy, I said this all week and I said it again today. I don't care about the interception against Vanderbilt. I don't care.
No.
You stood up in the pocket, you let that thing rip, and so what? You threw it a yard above his head and you got picked off.
Yeah.
You made the right decision.
And in the first week, I didn't think either of his picks were bad. So now he's looking at having 3 interceptions in 2 games. And really, I only consider one of them as a real interception, and even that one didn't really bother me.
Yeah. What I don't like, Zach, and you play baseball a lot, so you know that this, because it's such a statistical sport. Oh, well, Zach Pearson has a 3.1 ERA, and so he's not as good as he was last year. But then you might be thinking, well, shit, I'm much better than I was last year, because there's so many different things that go into it. Zach Pearson, former LSU player, baseball player, former pitcher, is our guest. We got a couple questions. I'm not sure how much, and I know that you're a sports savant, so I know that you'll be able to answer this. But Brandy Blake asked, #Ask Zach, when you get back to the football topic, big football, Brandy, who are your SEC picks this week? Fair warning, she wants you to play Lane Kiffin against the Crimson Tide this week. So I guess who do you got? I'll start you off here. Tennessee versus Georgia. Who do you like this week in that matchup?
I mean, I would take Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia looks pretty good against Auburn. I'm anxious to see who comes out of the East there, though, because Florida has looked really good too. So I don't know, but I would take Georgia this weekend.
Okay, so the Lane train is going to be playing his former predecessor. Now today, Lane, I can't get through this. I'm sorry, but Lane said on 101 that he would smoke Nick Saban in coverage. Who do you got? Are you going to pick the Lane train, or are you going to pick old Saban?
In wide receiver versus D-back battle?
Both. So let's start off with that. Let's start off who wins in a one-on-one battle, Nick Saban or Lane Kiffin?
Are they the same age? Like in this?
Let's go with, you know what? To make it fair, let's say that they're the same age. Yeah.
I feel like regardless of athletic ability, I feel like a young, fiery Nick Saban might win head-to-head in anything ever. He just kind of seems like that kind of guy that just, no matter what, he'll find a way. I wouldn't put it above him. I bet he would hit Lane Kiffin in the nuts one good time and just call it, just even the playing field.
Hey, bro. So listen, a couple of weeks ago, we did a podcast and we were talking about somehow, some way it came up about the real height of Nick Saban. And man, I did something so wrong. I Googled it on live stream and they gave my boy a healthy 5'6.5", and man, I loved it. So, but yeah, I still do. God, 5'6.5", Nick Saban. In the game, I'll go here. I think in the game, though, look, Lane's going to pull out all the stops. He's going to make a lot of things happen. I think that they're not going to win, but I think that they make another statement this week. They're going to put some points on the board. But give me the Crimson Tide because of that running game. Ole Miss's defense is just atrocious. I mean, they couldn't stop a nosebleed with a lady garment. And so that's just, that's just what I'm going to go there. I'm assuming you got the Tide as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think you're right, though. I feel like Kiffin's going to take this one as like the big win of the year, so he probably will pull out everything the playbook has. But
oh man,
I don't think they'll win.
If he's got a quadruple double pass to the left tackle, he's going to run it, man.
We'll find out.
We definitely will. We got a question right here that I was just sent a message.
The choice between paying more with cable TV.
See, that's what you do when you open your email. Someone had just emailed into the show. They said, #Ask Zach, your thoughts on Joe Burrow's performance this year in the NFL.
I'm loving it. I'm loving watching him. I like watching him play. I've actually been enjoying watching Joe Mixon because I'm watching Joe Burrow. He's been impressive too. Obviously, when you're the first pick, that says a lot about the team that you're going to. So you gotta kind of take his performance, with that in mind. But I think he's looked great, and I would love to see, a lot of first pick guys come in and they don't, they may fizzle out and this and that, and people can blame it on their team and whatever else. But I would love for Joe Burrow, and it would be a very Joe Burrow thing for him to be the one to take this team from first pick to actually pretty good over the next 2 or 3 years. So I would love to see that happen. I pull for the guy.
Did you see the clip? I'm sure you are, because you're big on Twitter, and I know that you do. Spooky Zach Pearson in the month of October, by the way, is probably the funniest thing ever. Just throwing that out there. But
thank you.
Let me say this. Did you see the Joe Burrow thing about him getting down and him talking to the refs the when he was mic'd up, what he was saying?
Yeah, that was great.
Dude, you ain't hitting me no more. That's what he said. I mean, you ain't hitting me no more.
Popped last week, though. It was last week, right? It was week 3.
2 weeks ago against Baltimore, when he was trying to complete a 10-yard pass and he got obliterated. Yep. But I mean, still, Chad Ochocinco on the mic'd up too. They did a Zoom after the game, and he said, "Joe, look, you too good to be taking them hits, baby. You too beautiful. You got to get down." I
will say I know a lot of people love Rivers, but there has never been anybody mic'd up better than Ochocinco.
Nobody.
Absolute legend on a microphone. Absolute legend.
Please. The child please always used to get me, man. My favorite is when he was still in Cincinnati and he was going up against Darrelle Revis when he was with the Jets. And he hit like a quick out route, and he was like, he hits it and he sticks and he goes out, he goes, "Child please." And I'm like, oh, God, man.
Oh, he's awesome.
How do you do that? How do you do that, man? A couple more questions, Zach, and we'll get you out of here. I greatly appreciate you joining. We did have one here, kind of just transitioning. We're just rapid firing with all the fans. David asked, LSU baseball coaching is where we were in later part of Miles' years, in his opinion. How can we not have any lefty pitching or any lefties on the staff? Your thoughts on that? And look, you're a left-handed guy and you were a left-handed pitcher, especially in college. People think that you can just go pluck these guys out of the ether. It's a great question, but how difficult is it to go find not just a left-handed pitcher, but a left-handed pitcher that's SEC caliber?
I think it's tough, but obviously they exist. They're all over. But I don't know. You're kind of dealing with regional stuff there too, right? You may have a couple years where you don't have the big guys in this area. And then you got the kids in, I don't know where, I'll just pick a state, but like Georgia or whatever, you may never have a chance of getting that kid. So I don't know. I would love to see them have more lefties because obviously lefties are the most fun to watch, and they obviously bring all of the attitude and everything else. So I would like to see them field a team of only lefties. I bet they would be the funnest team to watch.
We're gonna give you some more eligibility. Your name's gonna be Pat Zierson. What about that? Pat Zierson.
I would love that. I have to do many months of working out again before I'm ready to throw another pitch, but I would love to try.
All right, last one, and we'll get you out of here. This one's from me.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember asking you this, and it's kind of a fun question, but kind of a serious one. And I don't remember asking you, so forgive me. I might have had too many AYS bourbons over here the night we had you on. Who's the toughest guy you ever faced pitching against? Like, maybe not just a guy that's maybe a household name, but the guy that you just were like, oh my God, like I got to go up against him. And not just at LSU, but anywhere. Who is that guy for you that you were just like, man, I'm just going to chalk it up. Whatever happens is about to happen.
So I'll say that when I was like my entire career, the hardest guy I ever faced, thank God he was on my team, was Bregman. It wasn't even close. Bar none. I only had to face him in a couple inter squads, and it was a miserable experience every single time. That guy he's phenomenal. He really, really is. What I'll say is that I think when I was at LSU, Christian Stewart, I think he's with the Tigers now. That guy crushed me. Like and going into the at bats, I never in my mind was like, man, this guy's really good. But I think every time I face him, I think he hit a double off the wall. Like he just absolute mammoth swing, just baller baseball player. Like that dude can swing it. But I would still say Bregman. And then if I had to choose somebody not on my team, I think Stewart did the best against me. I will also say that we got lucky because I don't think
Stewart was the catcher at Ole Miss when you faced. Did you face him when he was at Ole Miss?
Oh, you're talking about Stuart Turner, huh? So
that's what I thought you were saying. I'm sorry. I must have misheard you. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was saying Stewart as in Christian Stewart's last name.
Oh,
but
okay.
Stewart was a baller too. I didn't have to face him. I never had to face him, and I'm pretty fortunate about that. He was one and done at Ole Miss. We were teammates in JUCO. Mm-hmm. So by the time I went to LSU, he was already drafted.
Just a couple, because I could sit here and talk to you all night about this kind of stuff. Zach Pearson, former LSU baseball player, is our guest. What made Bregman so good? I mean, we see it, right? Like we go out there and we watch the playoffs, and I'm always just enamored by like what makes these guys so great. So being a teammate, seeing him every day, what made him so great in your opinion that you saw that even if it's just the littlest thing, what was that?
So Bregman's one of those guys where, he's kind of the reason, like that type of player is kind of the reason that people think baseball is boring because everything routine looks too easy. And then everything difficult, he makes look routine, So that's right. One of the things. That's one of the main things for him. But facing him, he did exactly what, as a pitcher, exactly what you don't want the hitter to do. He didn't swing at balls. And whenever he would swing at a pitch, that obviously it had to be in the strike zone. But when he would swing, if it wasn't something he could really barrel, he would just foul it off. So you just were left with either having to walk him or getting hit really hard on the screws somewhere. And at that point, you just had to hope it went at somebody because he was going to hit it hard. That was his thing, was you couldn't get him to chase really easily. And then whenever he would swing, he usually found the barrel.
Yeah, it's just so amazing, so amazing to hear like your interaction going against him, even though he's your teammate, right? Like, hey, you only faced him a couple times. That's amazing. Zach, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Tell everybody where they can follow you on Twitter and everything that you're doing. We're going to have to make this a normal thing. We got too much great interaction from you, man. But again, I greatly appreciate it. And where could everybody, well, they could see it there, but tell everybody again where they can see you on Twitter.
Yeah, it's pretty much just my name, Zach_Pearson. I also have an Instagram, but I really don't get on it anymore. But that's pretty much it, man. I just I get on Twitter and I try to crack jokes. So if you're into that kind of thing, look me up.
Hey, man, if you keep coming up with the spooky Zach Pearson type stuff, this is a little fanboy of me, so I'll admit it, and people can rip on me. I don't care. Every month, I go, like in the beginning of the month, if I think about it, hey, what did Pearson put as his name this month? Like assistant regional manager to the regional manager, Zach Pearson. It was hilarious, man. Like I lost, especially because I was going through the office, like rewatching it. It was fantastic. But Zach, as always, man, you absolutely killed it. Thanks, man. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Enjoy it.
Talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Take
Zach
care, man.
Pearson, our former LSU player, former LSU pitcher, was our guest. Man, I love talking to that guy. He's got so many great stories, so many great things. The Alex Bregman thing, like where are you going to get that from? So I greatly appreciate Zach. Brandy says Breggs is the best, and I love him. You love him, especially if you're an Astros player. All right, we do have Mr. Gags coming up. We're going to give him a call so he can get to his picks. But before we get to that, guys, we got to talk about our great sponsors here at AYS. And none better than our good friend, Mr. John Patton from Area and Home Lending. Guys, with all the help from the Federal Reserve, it has pushed mortgage rates down to the lowest that they've ever been. Yes, the lowest that they've ever been. If you're considering buying a new home, saving money on a mortgage that you have now, or even doing a cash out refi, the timing has never been better. Get in touch with John Patton from Area Home Lending today. And if you mention this show, you'll get a free appraisal through the end of the month. With over 15 years of experience, I know that John will do the best for you. Give him a call today at 225-663-2500, 225-663-2500. And when you work up that appetite, go see our friends over at the Boston with the best seafood, steak, and sushi all in the North Shore. 748-5555, 748-5555. Tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you. Okay, let's get Mr. Gags on the phone. Let's give him a call. Look, as I've been telling you guys, Gags has been knocking it out of the park. If you're a bettor, if you want to bet.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice.
Where's Mr. Gags? It's going straight to voicemail. Are we not going to have...
Your call has been forwarded to an...
Somebody better get Gags. Somebody better get Gags, or we're not going to be able to do his picks. Stop. You better go get your boy. You better go get your boy. Michael Gagliano. Call in. All right. Let's try him one more time. Let's try him one more time and see if we can get the Gags on the phone. There he is.
Hello.
There. You had a brother worried for a second, like I thought you burnt yourself frying some scrimps from the other night, bro. What's happening?
Not much, man. I had my do not disturb on. My apologies.
How Roody Poo is that? But you know what? You know what? We'll forgive you. You know why? Because it's the Parish Gambling Report. All right, Gags. Tell everybody what the record is since doing the picks on AYS, and then we'll start getting to the picks for this week. So tell all the fine people the record so far this season.
18-7 for the season since we went on AYS.
18-7. So you're on a hot streak. I got to admit, I've been counting all these ones that you've been doing on the show, and I told everyone you're 18-7 and 1 because you had that little Roody Poo of a tie. But 18-7 and 1 since you've been starting. So you've been knocking it out of the park. So let's go over to college first. Gags, what you got? What you liking?
The top pick, and you knew it was coming because we talked about it for weeks now. The top pick's Miami, Florida. I can't turn down the 17 points. I'm getting 17 points with De'Aaron King and that offense. I think it'll be a shootout. I think it'll be closer than the experts think. I still think Clemson wins, but I got to take Miami in them 17 points, Blake.
Man, you know what happens, Gags? Let me tell you what happens. You make a pick like that. I come out immediately and I say, Gags, don't do it. So then the game gets here. And then all of a sudden you're messaging me and hitting me up like, Blake, I told you. And I'm like, why in the shit did I not bet it? You know, so you know what? I'm not going to say anything this week. I'm just going to stick to it. I'm not going to say anything. But you think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Why do you think that Miami is going to score a lot of points and keep it close?
I really like their offensive dynamic. I think they'll be able to run the ball. I think they'll be able to do some RPO option type stuff. I just think it's a real good test for Clemson. And if you watch that Clemson-Virginia game, Clemson struggled against Virginia for majority of that game. If it wasn't for a late pick in the first half, Virginia was within 10, I believe, and they drew a pick. The quarterback for Virginia, Armstrong, he drew a pick, and Virginia really played that team tight for majority of that game up until about the fourth quarter, and Clemson started piling on. I just like Miami's offense. I think they'll be able to have some success. I think it's the most dynamic team that Clemson will probably face all year. And I just think they'll give Clemson some problems.
Until you start going bad, Gags, I ain't gonna say nothing to you. All right, number 2 in college, who you got this week along with Miami?
I got Boston College +6 over Pittsburgh. They should have won that game last week over North Carolina if it wasn't for the missed 2-point conversion and kicking a ton of field goals. I like what they're doing offensively. Love the defensive side of the ball. I think it's going to be like a 2017 defensive slugfest. I know Pittsburgh will be mad after the loss to NC State, but I'm going to still take the 6 points with Boston College at home.
All right. Well, I actually like that pick because Pitt's coming off a big win too. All right. What about your third pick of the week? I know that you're going to probably hit me with the upset here. So what you got?
My upset of the week, besides Miami, is Arkansas +17 over Auburn. And everybody can say, oh, well, Auburn got beat badly last week and and da 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 da. But let me tell you, we talked about Arkansas earlier this week with Sam Pittman, how we love to hire. I love their defense. I love how they shut the air raid down. I love how they played Georgia tough week 1. I like what Arkansas is doing in their first 2 games. Yeah, they might be 1-1. I like what Felipe Franks is doing on the offensive side of the ball. They've been able to run the ball. They've been able to move the ball effectively. I like Arkansas, and I'm getting 17. I'll take Arkansas as my upset pick and to win outright over Auburn.
Oh, okay. Look, Gags, you follow the show and listen. I was laughed at by people months ago when I said that I thought Arkansas was going to come in and run the football, and they were going to be more locked in than people gave them credit for. I went on a national show and got laughed at when I said it too, but no one's laughing now. And I'm not going to say I think that Auburn's got a little too much talent for the outright, but I'm with you. I think that game's too close. Let me ask you this, because you're from a better, and you don't have to pick this game if you don't want to. LSU obviously going up to Columbia, Missouri. The line went from 20.5 now to 14.5. As a bettor, what are you looking for in that game? And would you pull a trigger on LSU now that you're getting 6 points?
I mean, the whole thing with me is developing a consistent rhythm. You want to see LSU carry over the rhythm from the Vanderbilt game, most importantly, right? So you want to see Brennan be able to move the ball effectively because you have Florida next week. You want to be able, it's concerning that people are betting Missouri because the line's moved. But at the same time, rather the game's in Baton Rouge and Missouri, you have enough talent in that game to win that game by 3 touchdowns. No question that. You should down. And I know Missouri can move the football a little bit with the quarterback, like you've mentioned this week. But at the end of the day, LSU is far more superior than Missouri. You should win that game by 3 touchdowns, regardless of whether it starts at 11 a.m. or 12 midnight. and that's just the facts.
I agree with that. Okay, Gags, let's get over to the NFL. I heard you had a big Monday night. So who you got for us starting off first in the NFL this week?
I'm going to take Jacksonville +7 against Houston. Houston's 0-4. They're a mess right now. They fired Bill O'Brien, who's also the GM. I've seen J.J. Watt things coming out today with Bill O'Brien saying he told Bill O'Brien things. Houston's just a whirlwind of a mess right now. They may win the game, but I'm going to take the Minshew Mania and the 7 points as my first pick, Blake.
I don't like that pick, Gags. I love it. I think that Romeo Cromwell, what can he do? Can he get that team sparked up? I think that it could be close to start off with, but I still think that the deficiencies are still there for Houston. I really do like that pick. I think Jacksonville is actually a much tougher team than people are giving them credit for. All right, Gags, who you got up next in the NFL?
Well, this next pick is dependent on the COVID situation, and I think the line is inflated because they have so many players test positive, but we'll see if it plays. Tennessee is getting +10 from Buffalo, and I know Tennessee has a lot of players out, and they may still have some players out. But I just think Tennessee is too good offensively and defensively on both sides of the ball to be getting 10 points from Buffalo. Now, I don't know if that game's going to be played. Tennessee still has people test positive. They had 2 other players test positive today for the virus. But, if it plays, the +10 on my side, if you can lock it in now, because that line will not be +10 if they decide to play the game Sunday.
An old Italian man who used to count some cards told me that if you get more than 7 points in an NFL game, you better take it. I think that the virus, yes, you're right, it pushes something into that. But, hey, man, I mean, you got to get the +10 with that. I actually been monitoring that game a lot because, look, I don't think it's going to be 10. But I'm with you there. But I will monitor it. If things continue to go out, Gags, I might. You know me. I'm a cautious Nelly when it comes to stuff like that. All right, Cags, let's lock it up here with the NFL. Who's your last pick this week?
My lock of the week and my easiest bet of the week, what should be anyway, is Cleveland +3 over Indianapolis. I love what their offense is doing. I love Kareem Hunt. He's now relevant in fantasy again after so many years of being out. I love what Baker Mayfield's being able to do offensively on that side of the ball. Defense, they got a lot of question marks defensively. They let Dallas pass for 502 yards. But I love Cleveland this week at home getting 3 points as my lock of the week in NFL.
I do like that pick too, Gags. Something that I'm going to add on to that, and just for Louisiana relevance, I know it looks like the game's going to be staying at home in New Orleans for that Monday night. If you had to bet that game, or if you had to assume who you taking this week, because the Saints have always done really bad against rookie quarterbacks. I don't think that the Chargers would win it outright. But if you had to bet that line, who would you take?
I'd take the Saints on the line, and I will say this: the Chargers are a tough team. I love Anthony Lynn as a coach.
Me too.
The players fight for him. It's just without Austin Eckler, I think their running game and it takes a big hit. I think the Saints should win by 10. I look for like a 30-20 game. I think the Chargers play tough for a little while, and then second halftime you start to see Breeze pour it on.
That's why you're our betting man. The Paris Gambling Report. Can he continue the streak? Gags, if you continue the streak, I swear to God, we're going to start pushing out everything, saying this man's like 29-0 and he can't be beat. No, we won't do that. But Gags, as always, we greatly appreciate it, my man. You have a good night, and we'll talk soon. Hey, and be safe with the hurricane as well.
You too, Blake. God bless y'all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. All right, that's Michael Gagliano. I'm going to get to my Roody Poo of the day, but I want to get to this question from Jennifer. Jennifer asked, Blake, how big of an impact is Logan starting to help the Bayou Bengals defense? A lot. You saw what Vandy did, gashing them in the run. Look, Apu-Ika's played good, but they got gashed against Vandy in their run defense. I think a more experienced guy, a guy that can get after a quarterback as well. It's going to be a very big deal, Jennifer. Okay, to wrap up the show, I'm not sure if you guys saw this today or not, but the Redskins pulled Dwan Haskins as their starter after 11 starts. Now, I know that he has not looked great, and I get that. But Washington football team owner Daniel Snyder allegedly made this pick, and now after 11 games is giving the go with all to the head coach, which, yes, who has been to a Super Bowl. But after 11 starts, you're pulling your first-round pick because he has no weapons? That's Roody Poo. So Daniel Snyder and the entire Washington football organization, you're getting my entire Roody Poo. I don't get for the life of me why we as a society and as football and sports fans, hey, this guy made 11 starts in the NFL. He sucks. No. Outside of McLaurin, who you didn't know about, the wide receiver, who pretty much got relevant because of Dwan Haskins, who's a skill player for them? I'll wait. Oh, well, Blake, they got Peyton Barber, but I'm telling you these people. That's the kind of stuff that happens when a glorified fantasy football player tries to be a real GM. I agree with that. Doug, I agree with that. But it kind of gets to my point. You made this draft pick. You going to tell me that you know what happens to him after 11 starts? Get out of here with that. Hey, go look at Peyton Manning's first 11 starts. I'm not saying Dwan Haskins is Peyton Manning, but for the life of me, can you give the kid 16 games before you start pulling them? You got Alex Pegleg Smith going to run out there, and now that Dwan Haskins goes from the starter down to third string? Something smells off there, guys. Something smells off. And I don't know what it is, and I could be speaking out of turn, and more reports could come out. But Daniel Snyder's the Roody Poo of the day. He's the Roody Poo of the day. There's no other way around it, y'all. No other way around it. Okay, we're at around an hour, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Guys, before you go, we're going to try to do the post-game show, but just be cognizant that we do have a hurricane coming. I'm not sure if we're going to be back tomorrow or not. We're going to be monitoring everything with the storm as it continues to go on. But if we don't see you, everybody stay safe, and we greatly appreciate you joining the show. For everyone in Louisiana, be safe. Go seek shelter, get food, get prepared, and get ready to go for this storm. We will be praying for you And hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. But if not, guys, we will try to see you again for the post-game show. And we'll see how it goes. Be safe. Guys, Blake Ruffino, peace out.